Welcome to another edition of Lone Star Brahmas Inside the Bullpen, brought to you by Fine Life Realty. And now, here's your host, Nick Merritt.
Inside the Bullpen's back with another episode. Nick Merrick, Walt Ruff, and Chad Seward here inside the NYTEC Sports Center. And what a podcast this one's going to be. The Brahmas are back in town. 3 games here over Thanksgiving week, and they just made the trip down to Corpus Christi, in which was a very eventful weekend, to say the least. The Brahmas get 5 points. They had 2 wins and overtime loss, but a couple of injuries as well to account for on the trip. It seems like we always talk about this Corpus Christi. There's always something wrong down there in terms of the players' health, or at least that was the case, with when Hayden Hansen made the trip down south. Technically, it was in Rio Grande Valley, but that was part of the trip. It continued on. So there's always something about going to Corpus that just doesn't sit too well with the Brahmas. But right away, let's kind of give a little recap of what happened on Thursday from a game standpoint. The Brahmas lost. It was a Kids Day game. Interesting crowd with a lot of schools in attendance. I'm sure the fans of the broadcast saw the multiple choice questions they were asking throughout the game to the fans to interact them, and the Brahmas eventually lost that one in overtime.
Yeah, that's a tradition that goes back to the Central Hockey League, that Kids Day bit, if you will. They did it in Oklahoma City. They did it, obviously, in Corpus. Places that have big arenas, like 10,000 seats or so, they'll do a big promotion with the schools. And I think the official attendance was 3,950. That looked pretty accurate to you guys?
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
That's a pretty good crowd. So that's an old tradition going back. We don't do it at NYTEX because we've only got 2,400 seats, and
it wouldn't fit.
We would leave too many schools out. So, but yeah, crazy promotion. First of all, before you talk about it, Walt, what were your thoughts headed south in Texas for the first time?
That was cool. That was an awesome trip. I had a lot of fun with it, and got to see a new arena. It was cool to be right there on the beach. It was one of those where I was telling Nick, as we pulled up to the intersection, you're either driving straight and you're going to be in the sand, or you're going left to the American Bank Center. So I thought that was pretty neat. It was an overall great experience for me.
It was. The arena is sweet. We know that for sure.
For sure.
It's not the best fit for an NAHL game, just because it's impossible to sell that place out. You aren't going to do it unless you're giving away cash when they walk in,
which is really a foolish business plan. But remember, Nick, back before Walt joined us, when we had reigning fan of the year Keith Hendon in here, we asked him what was his favorite place that he's been, and he said Corpus.
Yep.
No surprise.
He went down 2 again.
Exactly. So how was the game, boys?
The game was interesting. It was
talking about Thursday?
Yeah, Thursday's game. Right. It was different. I thought the guys came out a little slower than Corpus. It definitely was a different Corpus team on Thursday than Friday and Saturday. So the Brahmas, maybe that learning curve helped figure it out. But obviously the big thing that kind of stunk was the Patava injury. He had a nice hit earlier in the period, and I was kind of talking with him, and he's like, "Yeah, I wonder if that kind of sparked something on Corpus's bench, being like, he hit us hard. Let's go back and get him." And he ended up injuring his right shoulder, and currently out right now indefinitely, probably just a week-to-week thing. So there's no really timetable yet set by the doctors, but that was kind of an interesting thing just to see that, and then having to deal with Tom Hart. Went to make sure Patava was okay. Obviously, it's good that he is okay, and there's nothing crazy like surgery. But
and also Dr. Khan, our team doctor, and he's a knee specialist, but also in his practice he's got Dr. Winger, who's been one of our partners for years, and Dr. Winger is like the best shoulder guy in this part of the Metroplex. So I'm sure Patava has already seen him and is on.
I think he did Monday night.
Yeah, I would imagine as soon as they got back that Winger would want to see him. So I'm sure that he'll get the best care and be back at it, and it is what it is. It sucks to have an injury, but better now than at the end of the year, if you want to put it.
Right. Well, let's roll right into some of the problems, too. Walt and I were a little frazzled in Corpus, to say the least, just because of how everything kind of happened in Corpus. A little bit disappointment, honestly. we had. I know the fans always kind of talk with Howard Stone, the head of our off-ice officials here with the Brahmas, and some billets and families go back and say, hey, mark this shot, or that wasn't a hit, or make sure they won that face-off, just because obviously these stats do matter, and everybody understands that. I know our off-ice does the best job. Do they make mistakes? Of course. Everybody's going to make mistakes. But then there comes a point when Walt and I were in Corpus, and, man, it just took a different level. Like, this gives me way more respect now for Howard's team after having to sift through all the stuff that comes our way of the Brahmas needing to fix their stats or getting the wrong assist or the wrong person shooting or the wrong save made or not enough. It was just, Walt, you were right there. You literally looked over to me and goes, the Brahmas have, the shots are 1-1. And 5 seconds later, he looked back up and looked to me and goes, Nick, they just deducted a Brahmas shot on goal. Now it's 1-0 randomly. So it didn't make any sense.
The only thing I can think of is that's like the C or D team since it was a weekday, 10:45 in the morning. I know Howard has trouble sometimes when we have games on a weekday here, but that's the only explanation I could think of for that. Because if you're an off-ice official, you got to know what a freaking shot is.
I know. It was,
or maybe not. Maybe that's different rules on the beach.
It's just rough. It's like when you see that firsthand, and we're looking at the stat sheet afterwards, and it's like, the Brahmas only took like 20 shots on goal, and we're watching the game and thinking it's more near like 30 than 20. It's just like, I don't know. That was frustrating. The second thing, which got a lot of comments from both Walt and I and the players, there was music being played during the play. I've never seen that at any sporting event unless it's basketball. But I thought it was illegal in hockey.
Basketball, Harlem Globetrotters basketball, not legitimate.
I've seen it on the Phoenix Suns before.
Like I said, legitimate basketball. No, we went around. I went around with some of the league operations guys about the rule, and apparently there is no rule. Hopefully that gets rectified by next year. There's no rule against playing music. It's just hockey etiquette, and we'll talk about it later. But apparently their DJ doesn't know hockey etiquette because it's kind of it's just a. I don't know how any way to put it. It's just a bull thing to do to play music the whole way through a game. And then I've even heard some fans texted me about potentially piping in crowd noise, like.
Heard that one. Well, at first, honestly, I thought it was just on Thursday because it was Kids' Day. So I was like, okay. The best way I could describe it was like you're at a baseball game and there's like in between pitches or like the visit to the mound, like they're playing like these but it's like play is going on. Like I was looking at Nick the entire broadcast. I'm like, why are they continuously doing that? It wasn't just a once or twice thing. And then I don't know if they did it Friday, but then Saturday they were doing it again. I was just like, what is this?
Well, it's etiquette. It's like talking when somebody swings in golf. There's no rule that says you can't do that. You just try not to be a and do that when you play golf. So I don't know. That's an interesting one. Hopefully this is something that gets brought up and there's some sort of like uniform rule among DJs in the league that they can kind of pull it together. And
no, I agree. Well, hey, you're the fan, so Walt and I were talking. We're going to have the fans at one game literally make the playlist for everything they want to hear during the game.
Oh, God. Like, Keith Hendon, here we go. here we go.
Not even when it stops. Literally during the game, we're going to have 24-hour loop of whatever people want to hear, and we're going to keep it going nonstop. And we'll switch it up. Like we'll make a legit mix. Like Joey Fallon has the warm-up mix out there for the boys. We'll do the same DJ mash with whatever songs they want, and we'll figure it out and just won't stop. Even when the whistle stops, the party keeps going, baby.
Why don't we just hire a DJ, like a legit DJ with headphones and turntables, and just put
call your boy Grooves.
Grooves is now the American Airlines Center DJ. He's doing Mavs and Stars. I don't know when he's going to have free time.
Oh, that's true.
We can get
maybe that Monday game. We have a Monday Martin Luther King game. I bet he's free then.
In-game concert.
In-game concert during play.
Buy a ticket for a hockey game. Get a concert.
Absolutely. Well, it's nuts. And like my comment to the league is like, hey, now with Western Heritage Night coming up, we'll just, it'll be a hoedown for the whole freaking game if we have to. But
wait, do we have Western Heritage Night?
We do in February. We're doing I don't have a calendar here, but yeah, February. We're doing a Western Heritage Night. It won't be a Jersey themed night, but it'll be real. It'll be very stereotypical Texan, that's for sure.
February 20th, Saturday night against Odessa.
There's
All right.
Walt with the
Western
stats.
Heritage.
After the second Corpus Christi trip, too.
Yeah,
A week after.
I love it.
Bring your cowboy hats and your lassos.
Well, big belt buckle contest,
Right.
maybe a giant line dancing on ice. We'll figure it out. That'll be a fun one, though. It'll be very Texas. So, okay, so that was Thursday. Now, what happened on Friday?
Friday, Brahmas got a big win. They scored 4 goals in a row to start the game. It was a heck of a game. But then, obviously, every fan knows, or at least hopefully should know by now, there was even a worse injury than that of Patava's. The later part of the second period, Tomas Brejcha was on a forecheck in the boards, and there were about 5 guys there, and he ended up just falling weird because he got bumped and fell down to the ice. Nothing crazy about it. No bad hit. Just, working hard, fell. And the ice-raised defenseman, Tucker Bender, was back there as well. And he fell really awkwardly. Fell backwards where his skate slid out from up in front of him.
Right.
It's almost like something out of a cartoon. And his
Like
skate,
a rug was pulled out from underneath him.
Yes.
Okay.
And quick graphic thing here, so mute it for 10 seconds if you don't want to hear it. But his skate as he fell down backwards sliced the inside of the right arm of Brejcha while he was on the ice, and he just didn't really know exactly what was going on. He kind of skated frantically back to the bench, went to the blue line, went to the Corpus bench, and we saw Tom Hart and then the Corpus Christi trainer jump out immediately to put pressure on. They tried to literally lasso him back in like it was a cowboy, and he was like the sheep being herded. They got Tomas off and had to figure out pressure on him and call the ambulance right away. Fortunately, everything is okay. It could have been a lot worse than it actually was, but obviously it was a sight for the fans. Everybody kind of drew silent. The team, I know Walt will dive into this more, but they were very emotional. Kind of mixed feelings from the team having to finish that game. They actually stopped the second period to take an intermission, came back, finished the 4-minute second period, then rolled right into the third period. That's how serious this injury was, and they had to clean up the ice. But everything I heard from Tomas, surgery was great when he was down in Corpus. He came back, and this guy is just like the most positive person you'll ever see. It's unbelievable. Has a serious injury, and he's asking Coach as he's on the stretcher, "Coach, can I play tomorrow?" No, Tomas, you can't play. This is going to take some time. So he's going to be out a while, which is very unfortunate to see. But honestly, these type of injuries could be season-ending, career-ending. And we talked about yesterday, Chad, in the office.
Yeah, we had former Brahma captain Craig Menard who got stepped on his face. You weren't here for that, Walt, but we saw the very horrific pictures off Craig's phone where he was same kind of thing, just freak thing, stepped on, and I think he had 200-something stitches. Didn't stop his career, but you hear about things happening like that.
Right.
So Brejcha had one night in the hospital, a little surgery, and he's not okay, but he's okay.
Right. He's going to have to do some rehab and some sitting, and which is, it's still terrible news, but I think everybody's just happy it's not worse.
Oh yeah,
than what it actually could have been.
Yeah, and for the players, that's very hard when you don't know what's going on with your boy. You're trying to finish a game, and you have no idea, where he is or anything like that. So I'm sure it's very difficult. But what was that? I heard a lot of scuttlebutt about the way that, I don't know, what do we want to say? How the in-arena music handled this situation.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah, terrible is one word. It's another word. What's the name of the song that was played? In fact,
Leona Lewis's "Bleeding Love."
Can you pull that up and play that for the fans?
Yeah, let's do it. Here's a little sample of the song so you get an idea of it, and then we'll come back and discuss.
You cut me open and I keep bleeding, keep bleeding, love. I keep bleeding, I keep bleeding.
Okay, so let me recap. So again, the scene is Brejcha has been ripped open like a shark bite, bleeding all over the place, and the DJ that decided to play that song that we just heard. Here's the lyrics. You cut me open and I keep bleeding, keep bleeding love. I keep bleeding, I keep bleeding love, keep bleeding love. You cut me open. I'm sorry, and you're going to have to bleep me, but that's f***ing bull. That's some amateur hour bull to play that kind of stuff when a person's hurt. I mean, am I wrong?
No, 100%. I mean, it's ridiculous. We kind of heard it under our earphones, and then I thought they kind of stopped because you're so wrapped up in the moment. And then about half a dozen players come back and say, "What the was up with that?"
It's total bullshit. It's classless. It's amateur hour bullshit. And the funny thing is, well, it's not. There's nothing funny about it. But a couple years back, Pat Dunn, their GM, he comes and he's screaming at me in the lobby about how disrespectful and idiotic it is that we allow people to bang on the back of the glass during timeouts. This is when he was filling in when they went through one of their coaching changes. I think he was the assistant coach or something like that. And he's yelling at me, and I'm like, look, there's the Bucket Brigade in Topeka. These people they're not doing anything crazy. They're not yelling profanities. They're not taunting the players. They're just banging pucks on the back of the glass. Like, it's a hockey game. We want our fans to have fun. But I guess if that's the kind of, set list you want to throw down when you've got players injured, we would never do that. That's just
no.
Again, it's bullshit. And I hope the league addresses it. I don't know what else to say. I feel bad. What I'm really glad is I'm glad that Breka's family wasn't there or his billet family wasn't there. I mean, that's just dog shit.
I mean, there's no place for it. And we talked to, there's a time where you could be funny with type of stuffs in your DJing when there's injuries, but not when somebody literally almost loses a wrist because of it.
No. I mean, that's how people kill themselves, by cutting their wrists.
Right.
I mean,
and here's a skate which is already about half an inch thick.
Yeah.
And then it's going in at a speed of God knows what as the guy's falling down.
I mean, it did
unexpectedly.
It cut deep enough to hurt tendons. I don't know if it was complete severage or partial, but I mean, the guy can't use his hand for 6 weeks. So, all right, just another classy move on top of the circus music. The DJ's really throwing down the hits there at the American Bank Center. Yeah,
it's brutal. I wish there was no place for it. Something needs to be addressed, frankly. Otherwise, there's no plug, and then we'll just start doing whatever we want as well.
No, we wouldn't ever go down into the mud like that. I mean, it's just bullshit if that's what they want to do, if that's the kind of they want to throw out, but we would have more class. I mean, hockey is such a small world. These guys, could be your enemy one day, and then we could have a trade, and he could be playing for you the next. I mean, it's crazy. So Friday, we end up with a win.
Yep, Saturday, also same result, win, and the Berardinelli hat trick. So he ended up with 4 goals in those 3 games, and because of it, he was the second star of the South Division. So that was a nice honor for the league to get that recognition. And fortunately, there was almost nothing bad to report Saturday.
Nobody was hurt?
That was the good. No, nobody was hurt. Don't really have anything about the in-arena finally, so they fixed it up between Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So thank goodness there.
Yeah.
Well, besides the playing during music during the play, but I mean, whatever. That was already addressed on Thursday and Friday's games, so nothing different there. They weren't going to stop or add to it.
Yeah, I mean, I saw pics of Tomas and Kyle, and they were there in their slings and seemed to be smiling and in good spirits. So
they were. Obviously, neither one of them wanted to sit out. They both kind of mentioned that. They're like, man, I know Patava was like, this sucks. So now I got to go through the whole recovery process. Yeah, it does. These guys are athletes. They want to compete. They want to win something with this Brahmas team, which is good to see, though.
I mean, you still can because, that's what I said with Patava. It's good that it happened in November. Craig Menard, the guy we were just talking about, he had a horrific hand injury where it was really gross that happened here in the arena. It happened at the end of the season, and he was out for months. And, that kind of thing, when it happens at the end of the year, that could train wreck your playoffs. I mean,
right.
It's after the trade deadline. You're going in. I mean, if we lost 2 top line guys, because those guys are in our top 6 forwards,
Right.
If we lost them going into the playoffs, that would be it'd be hard to put a Band-Aid over that gunshot wound.
Right, and it'd be nice to get him back, which is what they're eager for. But let's hear from Sir Walt a lot here. I know you and I talked about in the long drive back from Corpus Christi. We made it overnight and Saturday. Actually, we're trying to podcast then, but
What was going on there?
issues.
Just a bunch of coffee, and you'll stop at Buc-ee's at least?
Yes.
Okay, hold on. Let's hear your Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee's awesome.
Buc-ee's review.
That's my new favorite place. I love it. I mean, it's like a mix of walking into. I mean, obviously there's no Wawa down here. Do you know what Wawa is, Chad? It's like it's a massive convenience store back up north. It's kind of comparable to Quick Trip.
Okay.
But it's always like super nice and super clean, and like that's how Buc-ee's is. But Buc-ee's is awesome. That's my new favorite place.
What's your go-to snack there? What's a vegetarian grab at Buc-ee's?
I got a made-to-order Southwest veggie wrap on both the way down and the way back. On the way down, we were about like 2.5 hours in and just wound up like spilling it all over myself. So pretty much the last 4 or 5 hours of the ride down, my shorts were just covered in Southwest sauce. So I mean,
It was pretty funny, and there's no napkins in his car. What's up with
Buc-ee's,
that?
I blame Buc-ee's. Give me napkins, Buc-ee's. I'm
Let me
a
tell you,
22-year-old, but I'm going on 12. So
you guys without kids, I got the napkins and the wet wipes and everything ready to go. Extra diapers.
He saw my baby mobile. I have a big paper towel roll between
yeah.
the seats. Same thing, but yeah, I mean, Buc-ee's was great. Part of the reason too is when you're driving back at 3 a.m. in the morning, we make our first stop. We can actually get some real food.
Yeah.
yeah.
So that was very nice. So again, that's when we got the wrap. I got like a chicken sandwich, and I got kolaches because I wanted to try those.
You never had that
some
before?
No, they were pretty bomb. They were good.
Oh, dude. You should have brought some for Brecca. Oh, surely
Right?
he got some on the way
Oh,
back.
I'm sure. I'm sure. I had to give it for Amanda actually, but she's first. But
Oh, yeah, of course.
I mean, they're just a good Danish.
Yeah.
I thought there was something. Oh, I did get a sausage and cheese one too. That apparently was their hot seller. So I had only the breakfast ones, like an apple and a strawberry cream cheese, and those two were great. And I warmed them up, but then they said, yeah, the top seller is the sausage and cheese, so I still have to try that one. It's currently sitting and waiting for me tonight.
We should have got the Bucky mascot out here for mascot night.
That would have been unreal.
I've been sweet.
Yeah, we'll have to work on that for next year.
I've been playing some broom ball. Man, he would get some fans.
Okay, so, just in general, aside from the amateur hour with the DJ, what would you think of your Corpus trip?
It was awesome. I can't wait to go back. It was a lot of fun. I know I contemplated not going originally, but I'm very glad we did. It was well worth it, and good times from point A to point B. Big thank you to Ripper and Tom Hart for letting us crash with you in the hotel.
Rip nasty.
Good guys, really good guys.
Rip nasty. We got 2 nasties in the house.
It was awesome to see. I mean, Tom Hart deserves a lot of credit, man.
Oh, for sure.
He was so busy with Patava and Breaka, and he works tirelessly to make sure these young guys are okay, which is, I mean, he didn't get back to the hotel until probably like 1 a.m. on Friday night, and then was getting up at, we didn't get to bed until 4, but he was getting up at 7 to go back to the hospital for his surgery, so it's just, God bless him.
Yeah, it's tireless. You work around the clock on those road trips, especially when, and even when you don't have injuries like that, there's still, little wounds that you got to make sure they're good to go. But
I'm sure he slept very well on that ride home.
Oh, I'm sure. And hopefully, I would say he definitely took a bunk. There's only 12
I
on
hope.
the bus.
I hope so.
He
deserved it.
He was telling us last time he had to put some of his training boxes up on the stairs, so if he lays out, it acts like a table, so his legs don't just flop down the stairwell.
Oh, man.
So I hope he slept well. Actually, I haven't even really talked to him since the trip. That's kind of sad.
Yeah, no, hopefully we'll see him floating around here today before he's back to work tomorrow.
Yeah, players were optional on Monday, too, so he didn't really need to be here, which was nice. So he got an extra day off.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Ripper didn't. Sorry, Rips. But, yeah, it was good. But, Walt, back to what Chad was saying earlier, because we talked about this in the 6-hour drive back home with no traffic on Saturday night to Sunday morning. But
is it time for the rant? Time for another rant?
No rant here.
All right,
we're
I got
going
one up
rants.
my sleeve then.
Okay, good. We'll save that one for after this question.
All right.
But the thing was, when you lose two guys like Breka and Patava, somebody has to step up. We've talked about the depth of this team for a while, but it really hasn't had to showcase itself yet because, well, knock on wood, before I was probably one that jinxed it. Everybody was fairly healthy and everything was okay, and there was just very minor things. Who do you feel stepped up and who played a big role in the weekend after the two injuries?
Well, it's no question that the obvious answer is Carson Kelly. He's got goals in his last 3 games. He didn't play on Thursday in the morning game, but dating back to the Saturday the 14th against Amarillo, had a goal, and then obviously Friday and Saturday, +3 coming in there as well. Then Troy York is finally starting to click. Those two were a combination.
York had 4 points, right?
4 points in his last 3 games. He as well did not dress on a Thursday morning, but starting to get hot at the right time. And then those two, I want to say surprisingly, but kind of not, but Peter Bates centered that line. We were so used to seeing Bates linked with Berardinelli, but then when you lose Breka and Patava, obviously you're going to do some shape shifting, but they're clicking, so good to see number 20 and number 25 rolling on all cylinders as they work their way harder into the lineup.
Oh, we both love Marabella's play too on Thursday.
Oh yeah, yep.
He was fantastic on Thursday, stepping up. That was when both York and Kelly sat.
Yes.
So Marabella was huge, and that was a big bonus for the team. He got a nice promotion on Friday, did fairly well on Friday and Saturday, close out the weekend too. So, I mean, the Brahmas keep going where they are. I mean, we were talking about it too. We're like, we highly think they add a forward. They almost have to. And I think there's certainly talks about it because if you're going to lose 2 players for, I mean, I'm no doctor, but let's say at least a month, you got to add somebody back now that you have no extra healthy forwards on the roster. Do you have to? No. But is it wise? Yeah, if it's the right deal, you might want to do something.
I mean, I don't know. That's why you carry 23 in this league. It's crazy. I mean, you dress 20, so you got 3 floaters. 2 of them are obviously down right now. So do you add? I mean, we've got an extra D-man, I think.
Yeah, we're still rotating 7.
So I don't know if you make a move. Whoa, sorry, I peeked out there. I don't know if you make a move and like do any kind of trade or anything like that. That's kind of like hitting the panic button a little bit. But this would be a good opportunity to try somebody from the NA3, pull them up for a little bit and see.
That's what we were saying.
You know, you got a guy like, I'm just throwing out names, but like Sheptitsky played a little bit in Amarillo, right? And didn't Dunner play down?
Dunner played. He went to a few camps even this summer. Almost made an NA roster outright.
Yeah, so I mean, injury trouble like that.
George Hansen was on the Wichita Falls Wildcats when we played him in preseason.
Exactly. So I mean, I don't know if you would go outside the organization and look for a trade. This is where having an NA and an NA3 team helps out a great deal. But you know, this team seems to be clicking. It's not like they're kind of like the Dallas Stars. They just keep winning. And I don't know. It'd be hard pressed for Dan Walfong or Jeff Potter to do any kind of crazy roster moves.
Right. Well, I'm not saying hit the panic button because the same conversation I had with a few people was, you know, if you add somebody, yeah, it's great. But then you might have to ship them away in a month, 2 months, a few weeks.
Well, plus it's like Sean Giles when he was here. He said there's no cancer in the locker room. Everybody's great. Everybody gets along. That goes a long way. So,
that's true. So why add somebody else to ruffle the feathers?
We know Breka is going to be out 2 months. I mean,
yeah, no, for sure.
Barring some sort of elfin magic from the Czech Republic that heals his arm in less than 2 months, he's going to be out. So
that's basically right in February 1st.
Yeah, and the season goes to April. So
yeah, he still has 2.5 months of regular season plus playoffs.
Yeah.
Because this Brahmas team is a playoff team, 100%.
100%.
The only thing I would say against that is that I don't see Patava playing before the end of the calendar year, and I don't think Breka will be back anytime sooner than February. Trade line comes up soon then.
Yeah.
Someone's not performing, you need to mix something up. If you go out and add someone now.
It's true. You can't trade anybody on the injured list, so
nope.
You know, that'll be an interesting talk probably.
Well, the Brahmas added 3 players last year. That's when Alex Carl came in, Storm Walrab came in. And Chad Gadarian came in.
We did, and the year before it was the same story. So, I mean, it wouldn't shock. It wouldn't shock me.
Didn't Vidmar come in then too?
No.
Him and Huge? I thought him and Huge came in.
Huge did. No, Vidmar was here earlier.
Okay,
He
maybe
came,
like right before the
he
deadline.
came around earlier, but Uch was a trade line, and then oh gosh, it's too many years back.
Yeah, there were almost as
too
many.
many roster moves.
There are probably more roster moves than the roster had.
Oh, that first year was in the NA was just crazy with the roster moves. There was about 50 of them over the course of the year. So, but yeah, so that leads us. That's a 3-game weekend, which is rare. And I had a couple fans email me and ask me why the 3-game set. Somebody referred to it as a baseball type schedule, and I think in the decision on that was it's kind of a cost saving thing for teams. Instead of going to Corpus 3 weekends, playing 2 games a weekend,
Go twice.
You go twice and do 3. Plus, with their arena, there's a lot going on there, concerts and whatnot. So when there's an open week, jam those games in and get them going.
That's very true.
But then we turn around, we've got 3 games here,
Right.
which we need to talk about now, the Military Appreciation Week.
Well, wait. Before we jump into that, we have a Walt rant, apparently.
Okay, I love it.
Well, 2 things. Here's the kicker with now we've got
2-minute
3
roughing
games.
with Walt. Go.
Okay. Lone Star Brahmas are playing 3 games this weekend, but so are the NA3 Texas Brahmas. So that makes it even more difficult to call someone up. Yes, they've got a few healthy guys as well, your options for call-ups. Ryan Dunner's got 9 points in his last 4 games, and one of them he was held pointless, so if you remove that, 9 points in 3 games. Shiptitsky would be a good option for a call-up, but we know he suffered a concussion in Louisiana 2 weeks ago. We don't know if he's good to go or not. And then George Hansen's been playing defense all year, so if you call him up and then he's a healthy forward, that's a huge loss for Al's team on the back end. Now, my rant about Corpus Christi and the NA team, is the NA's been feeding us all year. Playing the same team so many times promotes a rivalry. Playing Amarillo Bulls for the 8th and 9th times already this season. We've already won the season series. We're 7-0-0. We'll probably be 9-0-0 by the end of this weekend. Mm-hmm. And I asked Nick, I said, who would you rather see the boys play right now? Amarillo for the 8th and 9th time, or do you want to see them go back to Corpus Christi? Because we had a couple fights down there, just a lot of rough stuff. 64 penalty minutes in the first period on Saturday night. Obviously, we both said we want to see them play Corpus Christi. So it's just kind of a bummer that we're being fed this.
Can I say Odessa?
Yeah.
Hey, Odessa, how you doing over there, buddies?
We'll see you next year.
Haven't seen Odessa. Topeka, we played 2 games to, and we lost to them both times. But yet now we're playing the same team who we beat 7 times already this year. It's kind of a shame that we're being fed this. It promotes rivalries. No, it doesn't. It's actually getting old.
I agree. It's weird. It's like I don't know. There's just no way to compare it. It sucks. That's just the way to put it.
It does.
Yeah, the schedule sucks. I'm sorry to say it. It's not promoting anything. And if I don't want to bag on Amarillo too much, but we're 7-0 against them. 7-0-0. I mean, either we play really well against Amarillo, or they're just not up to this stuff to beat us. So I mean, maybe when they made this schedule, they were thinking these teams would be closer than they are. Maybe they were thinking that these games would be, more heated or whatever. But it is what it is. It's the schedule. It's not going to change. I've said it before. I like to see for the fans to see different teams come down here.
Yes.
I'd love to see teams from Alaska.
100%.
Holla at you, Shreveport.
See you soon.
Yeah, we'll see you soon. I'd love to see Minnesota, Michigan, Pennsylvania, anybody
Absolutely.
come down here and just change it up. Just fans get to see different uniforms.
Yeah.
And it gives those fans from the visiting teams an opportunity. If I'm a parent of a player in Fairbanks, Alaska, I'm probably more apt to come down to Dallas, Texas for a trip, because it's easier than going to Fairbanks. It's warmer. It could be. There's economic ramifications to doing that. I mean, it could be great, but and then in the same sense, we would go and make a trip up there. But
right. Well, that's right. We were talking. I think all 3 of us had this conversation. I feel like it was on the podcast. Maybe it was just in the office because we talk a lot. If you couldn't tell, but one of the things was like, why don't we just have a home and home? Like we go to Austin Bruins on 2015-16, and they come to us 2017-18. Just like any other sport team does.
Like college football.
Yes.
I don't know. I'd love to see that. I mean,
great.
obviously, the owners who are paying the bills, the bus bills, the hotel bills, the food bills, they may have a different song and dance, but
Part of it, though, is, but then at least if it's like, all right, you're paying 1 year, then I'm paying 1 year, it helps because everybody always has the same. If you're buying a hotel, you're going to be buying a hotel for Corpus Christi no matter what. So,
well, true. We lost 2 teams in this division, and we'll keep going back to that. Losing 2 teams in the South, it sucks. There's no other way to put it.
I can't imagine what the East is doing right now with 4.
Yeah, it's like this goes back to when there was the IHL. You guys remember the IHL? It was probably during your high school days. It was up around in your neck of the woods, Dayton, Ohio.
Yeah, it didn't last long, though.
Yeah, the Fort Wayne Comets. So the IHL dropped down to about 6 teams at one point. And I knew guys who had played in the IHL, and I asked them what it was like, and they're like, it's like a prison league. It's just a gong show of fights. You see the same guys over and over. You play the same 5 teams.
Right.
I can't remember who it was. Well, like a friend of mine who played for Fort Wayne said that they played, I don't know, Dayton 17 times in a year because they had a 70-game season. So imagine playing one team 17 times. Like that, unless it's just a brawl every game or the best hockey game every time, it's just going to lull the fans to sleep.
That's happening this year because Fairbanks and Kenai River are playing 16 times, and Kenai River is 1-22.
Solid.
Yeah,
well, stay hard, Kenai River. We're pulling for you to make the playoffs.
I think they pretty much have to win out.
It's an uphill climb, and we're going to need I don't know, man. That's rough. Yeah. Well, when you're that isolated and you're in Alaska, there's not much else you can do. Travel is – I mean, talking to the guys from Wenatchee, they didn't even own a bus. They flew everywhere.
Right.
So –
is that successful? No. To go back to your point, if you always had to do it, no. Which is why they're in the BCHL now. It doesn't work. But if every once in a while you get one guy to go – actually, I think since Walt probably has Fairbanks pulled up, maybe you can look at this while I'm giving this, but I think Fairbanks actually traveled to Aston earlier in the year.
Oh, my God. That's like 6,000 miles.
I want to say there was some cross-country trip.
Aston went to Fairbanks.
That's what it was. Okay.
And then Fairbanks does travel to Aston on January 2nd and 3rd. I mean, while they're out there.
See? Booyah.
Here's what I don't understand. Fairbanks they fly to PA to play Wilkes-Barre Scranton on the 11th and 12th. Then they'll probably stay in PA.
Of what, December?
Yeah. And then they play New Jersey the 18th and 19th. Are they just going to stay in...
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. We've done that with Wenatchee before.
Well, no. Listen to this. Then they play Aston on January 2nd. They're not going to spend the entire holidays.
No, they go back home for that.
Wait. What was the last time what's the dates between those games?
Like the 19th
They
and
have
the 1st?
off the Christmas weekend.
So the players probably all fly out of
Philly,
because I'm sure wherever they're going is cheaper than flying out of wherever. So
That's
and then
true.
they probably fly back to
Philly.
Yeah,
and then they just leave
point.
their bags in the rink.
Somewhere.
I'm sure they'll figure something
I mean,
out.
it's not a problem. Like
lock it up.
We're off the 23rd, 4th, 5th, something like that, and a lot of our guys are flying out, going home, and then meeting the team in Topeka.
Right.
I believe we're trying to arrange some sort of
Kansas City or something.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out some sort of shuttle schedule from Kansas City to pick up some of the guys. So, yeah, I mean, we've talked about it many times. It would be more advantageous of the league to mix up the teams. I'd love to play Fairbanks. I don't necessarily want to fly to Fairbanks, but I'd love to play. You want to play the best teams so that you're prepared. You don't want to just keep beating up the same redheaded stepchild over and over and over and over.
Yeah, from my standpoint, I actually love the fly at Fairbanks. That'd be a sweet trip.
I would go. and for the fact that Fairbanks Lone Star was the best game at the entire showcase.
Right.
I mean, obviously you can't account for these things when you release the schedule, but
here's the crazy thing about junior hockey is maybe the league takes note and says, oh, man, Fairbanks and Lone Star was an awesome game, and so they schedule that next year, and then we've got 3 returners and they've got 2 returners, and it's a
different team.
It's dog
right. Right.
It's so hard to predict. It's not like the NHL where you know that you've got your guys coming back, but that's good stuff. So good rant, Walt.
Well, here I have one more thing too. Not really with the rant, but I guess it plays a factor in it. But looking at who the Brahmas played during the NAHL showcase, they're all doing really well, which is cool to see because that means the Brahmas played good competition and they went 3-0-1. They they played Fairbanks. Obviously, they had a million games against Kenai, but they're still 17-4-2. So their win percentage is actually third best in the league behind us and Wichita Falls. Then you have the Minnesota Wilderness, who are 16-7-1. They're right behind the Fairbanks Ice Dogs in the Midwest Division. So obviously they're well over 500 hockey. The Springfield Junior Blues are a few points behind Minnesota Wilderness. They're 13-6-2. And then I think Johnstown was doing. Actually, Johnstown's not doing that great. They're 500 basically. So they're kind of the Topeka of the East. But
they won Hockeyville, so there's that.
Right, and their play was pretty good. I heard they actually have Jeremy Roenick's going to their games, I think, this weekend.
Is he?
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
So they get some pulls.
Did you know he tackled an alligator? Fun fact.
I did not.
Fun fact. You can look up the video.
Jeremy Roenick?
Yeah, look it up on YouTube.
Did you know he cried on national television when the Blackhawks beat the Flyers for the Stanley Cup?
You know.
I will never forget that one.
Well, it's J-Ro.
Yeah, he could do it.
He can do what he wants. No, he was playing golf on a golf course, and there was an alligator trying to sliver off into the water, and he literally jumped on it while his friend filmed it with his cell phone. Luckily, he didn't get severed by an alligator.
He'd be sitting next to Tomas Brake on the hospital bed.
Yeah. Maybe there was his friend would have played an inappropriate song about an alligator eating a hockey player when that happened.
Yeah, maybe. Hey, to the fans, too, by the way, you can give a tip of the cap to your Brahmas, the best win percentage in the league. They played the fewest games this season of any team. Well, they're technically tied for the lowest, but, hey, they still have 30 points in 18 games played. So that's a very solid start. And Hunter Van Nasty Pizzle asked me yesterday, he goes, what did last year's team start? I had to look it up in the 18 games. They were 13-4-1. Yeah. This year's team's 13-1-4. So there's some similarities. And last year's team went to the semifinals. So, hey, by basic math and algebra,
okay, so
we're back to the finals.
Let's discuss the 3-game week. It's actually a 6-game week for you guys because there's NA3 against Louisiana.
Yeah, and I'm already feeling a little hoarse.
Yeah, and then there's we've got Wichita, and then we've got 2 against Armadillo. So
the Armadillos.
Yes, that's right.
Military Appreciation Week. This is like the Kids Day thing is an old throwback to the CHL. This is something that we've done. We always play the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. This is the 9th year in this building. This is the 9th year we've had a Wednesday before Thanksgiving game. Last couple years, we just had that Wednesday. This year, we've got Wednesday and then Friday and Saturday, obviously, as well. So we'll be wearing patriotic jerseys all 3 nights and then auctioning them off on Saturday. Walt, an office tradition that we don't really talk about outside the offices. We always do a fantasy draft for the jersey auction. So we'll do that. We'll get that up on the dry erase board in the office. So it'll be us 3, Hunt Nasty, Scott, Frank.
What do you mean fantasy draft?
So you pick players and then that's your fantasy team, and we see whose fantasy team brought in the most at the jersey auction.
Ah, that's pretty neat. I'm down for that.
Yeah, and it's always
bragging rights.
There's no rhyme or reason as to. I mean, like a couple years ago, Sturtsinger's jersey went for $1,000, and that was completely out of left field.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he was popular, but
what was the other one? There was it Carreras? Shout out to him in Odessa.
Shout out to Carreras.
Shout out.
Didn't his go for like $750?
It went something just insane.
And we were just like, whoa. we were thrown back by that one.
That's just a tip of the cap, if you will, to Brahma fans, how much they love these guys. I mean, it never ceases to amaze me how much fans are willing to pay for Brahma gear. And, I can remember one year there was a jersey auction, an end-of-the-season jersey auction, and one of our players' jerseys went for $1,400. And the guy that bought it took it over and handed it to somebody else. And it was a guy who couldn't afford it. It was his favorite player. He couldn't afford it. And it's a $1,400 gift.
Wow.
That's pretty sweet. So we'll auction those off on Saturday. Post-game skates with the players Wednesday and Friday.
Where's Saturday's auction going to be? On the ice?
We're going to do it on the ice.
Nice.
That's
So can they
pretty cool.
skate around them too, or no?
No, so we did that last year, and it was just pure chaos. So what it'll be is the fans will congregate in sections B, C, D, and E behind the benches. We'll roll a table out there, and then basically...
And we'll just cattle call the players like we did last year?
Well, yeah, it's whoever comes out. So they won't shower first. They'll be in their unis. They'll take their jerseys off, and Scott will...
It's going to be 3-day-old jerseys too.
Yeah, they'll be pretty ripe. Scott will start rattling through them. And Scott is our auctioneer.
Man.
And they'll pay. We've got a new controller here at the NITEX Sports Center. Mr. Rick will be most likely on hand to collect payments, and then they'll sign their jerseys, take a picture, and off they go. Then we'll see them the rest of the year in the stands. Here's one thing. Whoever gets patavas and breakas will be nice and clean. There is that.
That is very true.
If you're looking to buy a jersey and you don't want it to smell like the inside of a football locker room, patava or breaka, they're your huckleberries.
I'd be cool with that. I think fans will enjoy that. Let's see what else. Well, here, I know promotion-wise.
Whoa, Nelly.
Man, it's giveaways. We got this on top of our head, though. So
hold on. Winning Wednesday that you guys started, that's going good. I'm really happy with that.
Well,
yeah.
Thanks,
yeah.
dog.
I like the what was the one you did a couple weeks ago? The guess the number of pucks in the bucket.
Yep.
That was good.
How many sticks were on the rack?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, what was the correct answer on that? Because I guessed 12,000 or something crazy like that.
You were close. You were only a few off. 73.
Okay. All right. Somebody nailed it.
Yeah, we had on Twitter, and then on Facebook we got 72. So we got some intellectual cats in the crowd
from the players.
Oh no, I guessed 4. That was my guess.
Because that's how you saw in the picture, probably.
Slightly wrong.
You're close.
Full from a player standpoint, I was impressed, but also not impressed because nobody cares about rips, I guess. Shout out to Steiner. I think he had the math because he was going through forward sticks, goalie sticks, defenseman sticks, and he added them up, and he got the 72. So he was off by 1 with his math and his thought process.
He needs to work on that before college.
Right.
That needs to be ironed out a little bit.
Well, no, he got it. He was just off by 1 because one of the extra forwards, I think, had a 4th stick, but he only counted 3 for him. But then real bad for like some of the guys saying 50 or 60, and it's like, were you even looking in the locker room when you walked in last year?
Hunt Nasty guessed 8.
8?
Yeah.
Obviously we're joking, but so winning Wednesday is great. What else do you guys have coming down the pipe? You got a lot of good ideas here.
Yeah, we got some fun games. I don't know if we're gonna bust them out this weekend.
No, I think we got plenty more tricks up our sleeves, but we'll
they'll be coming soon.
If you're listening now, and we'll get this up probably before tomorrow, but tomorrow we're gonna do. I know maybe I should keep that up our sleeve with what we're gonna do tomorrow.
Tomorrow's a Wednesday.
Yeah.
We'll save it.
Yeah, we'll save it. But it's gonna be fun. All
right.
We'll give away some stuff.
Love it.
Free stuff's always good.
So here's all the free stuff, by the way, for the week. So
free stuff.
A free Brahmas gift bag whole week for Thanksgiving. You're welcome. Wednesday, post-game skate, which is always a blast. Everybody wants more of those. By the way, before I get to the promotions, the reason there's no post-game skates after 1 million games, because everyone's like, how come Brookings has 50,000 post-game skates, and how come Aston has 20,000 of them? Maybe because they don't have adult league games after the Brahmas, so that's a big setback when Lone Star is getting off the ice, sometimes 10:30, but there's a game scheduled at 10:15.
And one at 11:45.
And that pushes everything back at least 30 minutes. So we can't do them after every game, but obviously the holidays we can. So post-game skate Wednesday. Also, Care Now poster giveaway at the door when you walk in on that day. And then the Military Appreciation Week. And part of that, the jerseys. Friday, we have the same thing, military auction, a post-game or military jersey wearing, a post-game skate, also another Care Now poster giveaway, and it's also a guys' night out at NITEX. And then Saturday is wear the jerseys, a jersey auction, no post-game skate, a Care Now poster giveaway, and an Acme Brick poster giveaway. It's unreal.
Right.
We're literally giving away free merchandise
posters
out the wazoo.
All around. Posters. We're making posters.
I'm going to be like little the girl bands and post them all above my head when I go to bed so they're all on the ceiling.
It's a little
Hang
weird.
on, let me
it's
get
a little
this
weird,
straight.
buddy.
Post-game skate is Wednesday and Friday?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, apologies. I listed it on the website as Wednesday and Saturday.
Oh, man.
Come on.
Sorry,
Pull it
dogs.
together.
Come on.
He's going to change that right now,
Yeah,
probably.
I'm actually already
He's on
logged
it
in.
right now. So that's free, too. If you have a ticket to the game, that's free. So get your $8 Terrace ticket.
And you get free rental skates.
Free rental skates. Just
Booyah.
load it out there, and then you can ask Connor O'Brien all about how his strategy was in the Mega Putt winning Wednesday, how he beat Chad, who also needs to go to the math school with Johann Steen.
With adding. Right? Yeah, that was entertaining. But, man, I think fans are going to like it this week. Besides seeing Amarillo for the 8th and 9th time, it'll be a good weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, too, and could be a good Black Friday. We'll put out a Black Friday deal for the Brahmas. So
big Black
stay
Friday
tuned for
deal
that.
coming.
Either that
Really?
or Cyber Monday, one of the two.
Whatever. Cyber.
Maybe both.
Yeah.
Cyber weekend.
I did
Absolutely.
not know about that.
We're gonna go nuts. That's what you took a day off yesterday. This is the stuff you missed.
I'm
Yeah,
hiding
well-
9 aces up my sleeve, and I'll throw them out when I want to.
I'm also still going to bed at 5 a.m. from our overnight trip, but we're getting back in the swing of things.
That's okay. It's okay. It's your rookie year. We'll get you in. No, I can't talk. I would never. I would have paid whatever it cost to get a hotel in Corpus Christi to not have to drive.
Yeah, that
Although
was
the Buc-ee's stop sounded fun.
Actually, the drive home wasn't bad at all, which
No.
is funny.
Nope.
Plus, our fake podcast, Throwback Thursday to that podcast
Oh my
episode.
God.
Man, that one's gone.
So we've got 2 lost podcasts now in the vault. The one that me and Walt did when you were gone, which was terrible. No,
Yep.
it wasn't. Was it terrible?
No, it wasn't terrible, but we recorded it like 6 hours before I left for Blaine, and then we're talking about like the Blaine preview, and we just didn't account like when am I gonna post it? Like we're talking about a preview of the games, and the first time I found myself with free time was like Friday morning in Blaine, so it's like okay,
Which is like, all right, 2 games done.
pretty useless now.
Plus, there were times where we were literally both just staring at our computers, and it's like dead air. We're like, oh yeah. So
Well, we tried to give the fans as much info as we could. Literally, Walt and I had a cigarette lighter adapter plugged into the car. We had our soundboard plugged into that. We had our headsets out. We both had our headsets on, driving up the 35 Northwest.
if I was a police officer and I drove past you, there's a 100% chance I would pull you guys over and be like, "What is going on here?"
Oh,
I
yeah.
had some Kalash's. We could have pawned them off.
Tune in, Tokyo. What's going on here, boys?
Yeah,
It was a
two
riot.
guys with headsets and just wires running all over the place.
That's not stable.
Yeah.
But then after we essentially talked to ourselves, because now the episode's gone for an
Yep.
hour,
Yep.
then we both looked at each other and we were like, oh my God, where are we? And we just got to Waco. We were like, oh, brutal. It's like an hour and a half, if not a little bit more, and it's already 3:10 a.m., and we're like, what is life?
Yeah.
So
We
that
were
was a
wired
grind.
until that point. We were good, but then after the podcast was over and we realized we still had an hour 45 to go, we were just like, oh, man.
That's okay. We beat the bus home, so hey, at least that paid off. We got to bed earlier than they did.
Pick it up, Jim.
Yeah.
We did pass them on the freeway. We saw him.
Yep.
Did you?
We'll
Yeah,
see
we
you.
said adios.
Did you honk?
We did
Yep.
like 4 times. He probably thought I was just an a-hole.
Who are those crazy guys with headsets passing us honking?
It's all part of the bit. What can we say? But yeah, what else we got? Everything good for Thanksgiving week here?
Everything's good, yeah. Looks good. I mean, we've got these games, then we've got, this is hard to believe, a little break till December 11th, and then nothing until January 8th. We've got basically a month. Well, it's not a month off. There's road games, but that's not a whole lot of we don't do that a lot. So
No. There's a lot of home games.
yeah,
next year.
the back half of the year is filled with them, but we do have that 1 month stretch where the fans are going to be, I know they're going to be jonesing for some hockey, so we'll have to find a way to get their fix.
That's why you got to come out now. This
Right?
weekend's going to be nuts.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be great. Also, win some Winning Wednesday tickets, too. So this Wednesday, another chance. Even though it's a game, we still got it going. So shout out to Allison Zaradnik for winning a few weeks ago. We got her tickets in hand.
She'll be here
And
this
we'll
weekend.
call. She'll definitely be here on Saturday.
A to Z.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing that out there. A to Z.
Very true.
No, it's going to be great. And hopefully everybody else will join as well. But Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, against the Wildcats, a 1 versus 2 in the South. Friday, Saturday against the Amarillo Bulls again. Hey, good chance to see maybe a Brahmas win. So if you want to see them win on Black Friday and the day after that, it should be a good weekend here at NITEX. Otherwise, we will definitely be here. If you want to check out the NA3 boys as well, free admission to those. I spelled that out. So you can get a double header on Friday and Saturday. Games start at 2 o'clock if you want to see the NA3, and then it'll be about a 2-hour break between games. Come back and see the Bulls and Brahmas, get some dinner at Zaroma's, and then just have a big old party and enjoy the NITEX Sports Center this weekend. And live the dream with us, baby. But
Live the dream.
that'll do it.
All right.
Come on out and look at Al's team. Al's team is so good. Please. They're undervalued in the fan department. We need to get more out here for free admission.
I agree. And Corpus Christi, you stay classy.
Ciao, Bella, baby.
Come down.